Hello and happy Tuesday, which is of course my book reviews day, and today I would like to talk to you about Christmas Horror Volume 2 by various authors here, 6 authors in total, edited by Chris Moray of the now defunct and bankrupt Dark Regions Press, because here we are in December, and you're probably thinking, you know what I could use? I could use some Christmas horror, so maybe this is one of the things that popped up when you Googled Christmas horror, and well, you are in luck because there is a collection. However, big caveat on that, I would highly recommend you don't buy this book unless you're buying it secondhand, which more details on that at the end. I will tell you as I'm going through talking about each short story how you should instead support the individual authors when available. And with 4 out of 6 of these, they are available in other means in which you should support the authors that way. But listen, more on that after we talk about the stories themselves. I encourage you to stick around because I want to talk about Dark Regions Press and why you shouldn't buy this direct off Amazon. So anyways, Christmas Horror Volume 2 is a collection of 6 stories. I guess you would say, I would say 6 short stories, but Gene O'Neill's is really more of a novella, and William F Nolan's is just a disappointment. I don't even want to count that as a short story. It's flash fiction, but terrible flash fiction. Compiled and edited by Chris Moray from Dark Regions Press. It's a very thin volume. In fact, Little Warriors by Gene O'Neill actually takes up a bulk of the volume by itself, but that doesn't mean it's not worth reading. I mean, there are some very interesting stories within here. Christmas at the Pattersons is the very first one by Elizabeth Massie, and I'm not going to lie, I don't think I've ever read any Elizabeth Massie before, but this has me intrigued. It's about a small town in which, you know, there are the entrepreneurial Pattersons at the heart of this town. They own lots of the small businesses, and they throw a nice little Christmas shindig in November, like it's not even Christmas time, when they bring everyone to their house. And, well, this follows Donna Wilson and her husband as they go to the Pattersons' house. And, well, things are not as they seem, and there's a little bit of evil, malicious witchcraft once you scratch beneath the surface. It's definitely worth checking out. If you want to check it out, you should go find it it's called Mr. Cruller's Couch and Other Grim or Other Dark Stories. I might have butchered the name there, but I'll put it in the description below. It's a collection by Elizabeth Massie, which includes this short story if you want to check it out, plus more by Massie. Buying that would support Elizabeth Massie, and I would highly encourage you doing so. Next up, as I said, is the bulk of this collection, which is Little Warriors by Gene O'Neill. Unfortunately, this one is not available outside of this collection, which, I mean, Gene O'Neill, man, you should make this available for people, because I want them to give you money when they do this, and they can't do that right now because of the state of Dark Regions Press. So anyways, Little Warriors is kind of like a Home Alone meets Die Hard. And, yeah, it's a pretty entertaining read. It's a pretty good read. Edge of your seat, wanting to root for the protagonists, the little warriors, so to say. I will say there is a little bit of fantasy element, which isn't really central to the plot at all. I mean, there's some fantastic, fantasy intervention at times, which didn't really add anything to me. I mean, you could have taken that out and you still had the Home Alone / Die Hard mashup, which would have been fine. So, I mean, just, just a word of, I don't say word of warning, but just, what I'm telling you is, there's a weird little fantasy element that doesn't really add anything, but it's still very much worth reading if you can pick this up on the secondary market. Up next, we have I Saw Santa by Steve Resnick-Tem, probably one of my favorite stories in this collection. This is about young Tommy who sees Santa, and he discovers that Santa is not like the stories portray him. Santa is a little more, well, let's just say weird. But Santa will give you what you want in exchange for offerings of food. And so over the course of several years, it talks about Tommy as he continues to try to help Santa with his appetite and in exchange get gifts. This, like I said, it's downright weird, but in a very enjoyable way. And the good news is you can read this entirely for free on Tem's site. Link in the description below takes you right to that short story. Definitely worth checking out. Up next, December Birthday by Jeff Strand, another one of the standout short stories in this collection. It's very quick, very abrupt, giving you a very snapshot image of the various years as as our friend here is getting, as Clyde is getting his birthday Christmas presents all at once. I feel like Jeff Strand might be talking from the heart here because his birthday is in December, but things quickly take a turn for the worse in the best Jeff Strand way possible. Expect a little bit of gore, expect balls to the wall, horror mixed with a little bit of humor in the way that Jeff Strand can only pull off. If you wanted to read a copy of this, it is available in his short story collection, Candy Coated Madness, which honestly is the way to go because you are getting a chance to read that, plus other Jeff Strand short stories. Then we get to A Note from Santa by William F. Nolan, which isn't even a full page. I mean, look at that. If you take a title out of that, you're just barely getting a full page. It is flash fiction. You could pause this video and read the entire short story for yourself. And short story is doing it a disservice. It is just... I love William F. Nolan. He has done immeasurable contributions to the science fiction and horror genres as a whole. But what the hell, man? Like, I mean, he was 90 when this was published. I feel like he had a contractual obligation to turn something in, and this is what he did. I mean, you don't even have to pause it to read it. I will give you the entire gist right now. It's a letter from Santa asking you, hey, do you believe in ghosts? Because Santa believes in ghosts, because one year he went into a house to deliver presents, and he saw a ghost. That's it. That's the story. The end. What the hell, man? It's just like, Jesus. Oh, and then finally we get to Silent Night by Richard Chizmar, which is a decent short story, but I'm not going to lie, it felt out of place here within this collection, because this is Christmas horror, and Silent Night is not a horror short story. I mean, it's got, you know, a bit of drama to it, a little bit of tension to it, but it's not horror. I mean, it's more of like a crime drama. Anyways, it deals with a mysterious man with a mysterious past, who has escaped his past one Christmas Eve, going back to relive his past and you know, rekindle some relationships with some past acquaintances. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it's a touching short story. It does decently. I mean, some of it's a little clunky, but otherwise, I mean, it's decent. But it doesn't quite fit in Christmas horror because it's not a horror short story. But if you did want to read that one for yourself, that is available in The Long Walk Home by Richard Chizmar. So, yeah, there you have it. There are 6 short stories, all involving the holidays, all published in Christmas Horror Volume 2, which I cannot emphasize enough, you should definitely not buy unless it's on the secondary market. So if you're not familiar, Dark Regions Press is a small press publisher, or was a small press publisher, that had been publishing stuff for about 30 years. I mean, they were in the business for a while, founded by the father, Joe Moray. Eventually, he retired and passed it on to his son, Chris Moray. They had a bunch of production delays, year after year, month after month for the past few years, until ultimately, earlier this year, Chris Moray declared bankruptcy and ran into the woods, leaving all of his authors stranded, you know, with no royalties and no rights to their work, and leaving a whole bunch more customers out of their money, myself included. So there is still an option on Amazon to buy this direct from Amazon. And I think that's because this is a print-on-demand title. So, I mean, I cannot confirm or deny that. I mean, I can confirm that it is a print-on-demand title. I cannot confirm that that is the instance if you were to buy it directly new from Amazon. But my understanding is that if you buy it directly from Amazon, you're going to get a print-on-demand book. The authors aren't going to get a damn penny, and the money's going to go to Chris Moray, who's already screwed over countless authors and the customers, which is just unacceptable. So, no, I do not recommend you buy Christmas Horror Volume 2 or Volume 1 or Volume 3 unless it's on the secondary market. If you're buying it from another person, great, absolutely buy it. That way the person's getting the money and Chris Moray isn't getting a penny. Or if you want to check them out, go and buy the individual collections that these authors have done. Like I said, it's Mr. Cruller's Couch, The Long Walk Home, Candy Coated Madness. Nolan, you just pause the video. You can read that flash fiction. It's garbage. You don't need to read it. And Steve Resnick Tem is on his website for free. So that is 4 out of 5 short stories in this collection. Screw Nolan, doesn't even count. I don't like to screw Nolan. William F. Nolan is a terrific author. This is just garbage. Gene O'Neill is the only one that I'm aware of who doesn't have his story available in other means, which is a bummer. So you really only need to pick up Christmas Horror Volume 2 if you wanted to read that one. Or, I don't have Christmas Horror Volume 3, but it's my understanding that like 5 of the 6 short stories in this were republished in Christmas Horror Volume 3, which might include Little Warriors by Gene O'Neill. So if you wanted to read that, you might want to buy Volume 3. But again, I cannot stress enough, buy it on the secondary market, buy it from a person, do not buy it from Amazon, do not buy it directly from Chris Moray, because he's already declared bankruptcy, and there is no sense in giving him any more money when he's already screwed over so many authors and so many customers. So there's my Dark Regions rant for the day. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel here. I do at least one book review a week, plus plenty of other unboxing videos in between here and there, so there's plenty of content to keep you entertained. So anyways, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.